Shalom, guys. Give you guys just a moment and then we will pray. Okay, let's go ahead and bow our heads and pray. Yahuwah, thank you for gathering us today. I pray you guide the study of your Torah, and I pray you give my viewers discernment. And we thank your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, who has given us salvation through his blood. And we are so grateful, and we praise you, the Most High. We pray to be counted worthy in your kingdom, Yahuwah. In Yahushua's name we pray. Amen. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to Torah Truth Fellowship of Yahusha. I am your host, Brianna, and this is the Torah portion. Last week, during the Torah portion, we went over Genesis chapters 24 through 26, and this week we'll be covering chapters 27 through 29. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and begin. If you have your Bible handy, now is the time to take it out. We're going to begin in Genesis chapter 27. Let's go ahead and read it. Okay. And it came to pass that when Yitzhak was old, and his eyes were dim, so that he could see not, he called Esau, his oldest son, and said to him, My son. And he said unto him, Behold, here am I. And he said, Behold, now I am old, and I know not the day of my death. Now therefore take, I pray you, your weapons, and your quiver, and your bow, and go out to the field, and take me some venison. And make me savory meat, such as I love, and bring it to me that I may eat, and my soul may bless you before I die. And Rivkah, which is Rebekah, heard when Yitzhak spoke to Esau his son, and Esau went out to the field to hunt for venison and to bring it. And Rivkah spoke unto Yaakov and said, her son, saying, Behold, I heard your father speak unto Esau your brother, saying, Bring me venison and make me savory meat, that I may eat and bless you before Yahuwah before my death. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, according to that which I command you. Go now to the flock, and fetch me from thence 2 good kids of the goats, and I will make them savory meat for your father, such as he loves. And you shall bring it to your father, that he may eat, and that he may bless you before his death. And Yaakov said unto Rivkah his mother, Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. My father perchance will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing. And his mother said unto him, Upon me be your curse, my son. Only obey my voice, and go fetch me them. And he went and he fetched, and he brought them to his mother, and his mother made savory meat, such as his father loved. And Rivkah took goodly remnant of her eldest son Esau, which were with her in the house, and put them upon Yaakov her younger son. And she put the skins of the kids of the goats upon his hands, and upon the smooth of his neck. And she gave the savory meat and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Yaakov. And he came unto his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I. Who are you, my son? And Yaakov said unto his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done according as you bade me. Arise, I pray you, sit and eat of my venison, that your soul may bless me. And Yitzhak said unto his son, How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because Yahuwah Eloheka brought it to me. And Yitzhak said unto Yaakov, Come near, I pray you, that I may feel you, my son, whether you be my very son Esau or not. And Yaakov went near unto Yitzhak his father, and he felt him, and he said, The voice is Yaakov's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him, not because his hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands were hairy. And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, and his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, Are you my very son, Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless you. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Yitzhak said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near, and he kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his remnant, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field, which Yahuwah has blessed. Therefore Elohim gives you the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of grain and wine. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be prevalent over your brethren, and let your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone that curses you, and blessed be he that blesses you. And it came to pass, as soon as Yitzchak had made an end of blessing Yaakov, and Yaakov was yet scarce gone from out of the room of Yitzchak his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of his son's venison, that your soul may bless me. And Yitzchak his father said unto him, Who are you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn, Esau. And Yitzchak trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he who has taken venison, and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before you, and I have eaten all before you came, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Your brother came with subtlety, and has taken away your blessing. And he said, Is he not rightly named Yaakov? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? And Yitzchak answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him your prevalent over you, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with grain and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto you, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Have you but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Yitzchak his father answered and said unto him, Behold, your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of the heaven from above. And by your sword shall you live, and shall serve your brother. And it shall come to pass, when you shall have the dominion, that you shall break his yoke from off your neck. And Esau hated Yaakov because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Yaakov. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rivkah. And she sent and called Yaakov, her younger son, and said unto him, Behold, your brother Esau, as touching you, comforts himself, purposing to kill you. Now therefore, my son, obey my voice, and arise, flee to Lavan, to my brother, to Haran. And tarry with him a few days, until your brother's fury turn away, until your brother's anger turn away from you, and he forget that which you have done to him. Then I will send and fetch you from thence. Why should I be deprived of also of you both in one day? And Rivkah said unto Yitzchak, I am weary of my life, because the daughters of Sheth. If Yaakov take a woman of the daughters of Sheth, such as these, which are the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me? All right, let's go ahead and go over that. Oh, what is going on? Why is it always doing this? Hold on, guys. Well, you're going to have to give me a minute. I have to restart my phone. Okay, let's see. Okay, so in this chapter, we see Isaac call for Esau, his oldest son, to come to him. And at this point, Isaac is very old and he has grown blind. And Isaac tells Esau to go get his bow and to go into the field and hunt some venison, so that Isaac could eat and he could bless his firstborn son before he died. Well, Rebekah, Esau and Jacob's mother, hears this, and she says to Jacob, "Obey my word and go to the flock and take 2 kids from the goats, and I will prepare some savory meat for your father. So he will bless you before his death." And Esau, his brother, is a very hairy man, and that's what he tells his mother. And he says, "And I'm not. I'm a smooth man. My father is going to notice this, and he's going to call me a deceiver, and he's going to curse me." To which Rebekah says that the curse will rest upon her, not him. She told Jacob to obey her voice. So Jacob went and fetched the goats, and his mother cooked them up. And then Rebekah clothed Jacob with some clothes that belonged to Esau. And she put the skins from the goats on Jacob's hands and on the back of his neck. And then she gives Jacob the meat. So Jacob takes the meat to his father, and Isaac asks who's there. And Jacob tells him, "It's me, your firstborn, Esau. I've done what you told me to do, so arise and eat my venison so your soul may bless me." And Isaac asked his son, "Well, how were you able to find the venison so quickly?" And Jacob, who's pretending to be his brother, says, "Yahweh brought it to me." So Isaac says, "Come near that I may feel you, whether you be my son or not." He said, "Your voice sounds like Jacob's, but the hands are of Esau." So he discerned him as Esau, and he blessed him. And it came to pass that as Jacob was leaving the room, like he hadn't even made it out of the room yet, here comes Esau with the venison. So Jacob got scared, and he departed from his father's presence. So Esau sets the venison down and says, "Arise and eat my venison, that your soul may bless me." And Isaac says, "Who's there?" And Esau says, "It's me, your firstborn son, Esau." And Isaac trembled. He's like, "Who?" He's like, "Who just brought me the venison that I ate before you came?" He said, "Him I have blessed, and he's going to remain blessed." And Esau cried out very bitterly. He says, "Sure you have a blessing for me. Please bless me." And Isaac tells him, "Your brother, he came and stole your blessing." So not only has Jacob taken Esau's birthright now, he has also taken Esau's blessing. And Isaac did bless Esau, but the blessing he gave to Jacob was far better than the blessing he gave to Esau. He basically told Esau he was going to be a man of war. And then Esau hated his brother Jacob after this and was plotting to kill him. And Rebekah knows this, their mother, so she sent for Jacob, and she tells him that he's got to go, he's got to get out of here, because Esau is going to kill him. So Rebekah tells Jacob to go see her brother Lavan and go stay with him and until your brother isn't angry anymore. And she tells Jacob, "I'm going to send for you when it's safe." So to get Isaac to send Jacob away, Rebekah tells him, "I'm weary because the daughters of this land. If Jacob takes a daughter of this land, what good is it going to do me? It will weary my soul." Okay, now let's go ahead and read chapter 28. And Yitzhak called Yaakov and blessed him, and charged him, and said unto him, "You shall not take a woman of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, and go to Paddan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and take you a woman from thence, and the daughters of Lavan, your mother's brother. And El Shaddai shall bless you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, that you may be a multitude of people, and give you the blessing of Abraham to you and to your seed with you, that you may inherit the land wherein you are a stranger, where Elohim gave unto Abraham." And Yitzhak sent away Yaakov, and he went to Paddan Aram unto Lavan, the son of Bethuel the Arami, the brother of Rivkah, Yaakov and Esau's mother. And when Esau saw that Yitzhak had blessed Yaakov, and sent him away to Paddan Aram to take him a woman from thence, and that as he blessed him, he gave him a charge, saying, "You shall not take a woman of the daughters of Canaan." And that Yaakov obeyed his father and mother, and was gone to Paddan Aram. And Esau, seeing that the daughters of Canaan pleased not Yitzhak his father, then went Esau unto Ishmael, and took unto the woman which he had Machalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his woman. And Yaakov went out from Bere'shiyth and went toward Haran. And he lighted up upon a certain place, and tarried there all night, because the sun was set. And he took up the stones of that place, and put them for his pillows, and lay down in that place to sleep. And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set upon the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of Elohim ascending and descending on it. And behold, Yahweh stood above it, and said, I am Yahweh Elohai of Abraham your father, and the Elohai of Yitzhak. The land whereon you lie to you will I give it, and to your seed. And your seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in you and in your seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed. And behold, I am with you, and will guard you in all places whither you go, and will bring you again into this land. For I will not leave you until I have done that which I have spoken to you of. And Yaakov awoke out of his sleep, and he said, Surely Yahweh is in this place, and I knew it not. And he was afraid, and said, How dreadful is this place! This is none other but the house of Elohim, and this is the gate of heaven. And Yaakov rose up early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put for his pillows, and set it up for a pillar, and poured oil on the top of it. And he called the name of that place Beit El, or Bethel. And the name of that city was called Luz at first. And Yaakov vowed a vow, saying, If Elohim will be with me, and will guard me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat, and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall Yahweh be my Elohim. And this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be Elohim's house. And of all that you shall give me, I will surely give the tenth unto you. Then Yaakov went on his journey, and never mind, hold on. That's chapter 29. I'm reading ahead. Let's stop and go over this. Okay. So Isaac calls Jacob, and he blesses Jacob, and he charges him, and he says that you shall not take a woman from Canaan. You shall go to Paddan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and you're going to take a woman from there, of the daughters of Lavan, your mother's brother. And El Shaddai, the Most High, will bless you and make you fruitful, and he's going to multiply you and give you the blessing of Abraham to you and to your seed after you, so that you may inherit the land where you are a stranger, which Yahweh gave to Abraham. So Isaac sends Jacob away to Paddan Aram, and Esau saw Isaac bless his brother and send him away, and charged him, saying that you shall not marry a daughter of Canaan. And Jacob obeyed his father and mother. So Esau saw the daughters of Canaan displeased his father. So Esau went to his uncle, Isaac's brother, Ishmael, and he took a daughter of Ishmael to be his wife. And I want to actually read something from the book of Jasher on this account. It is found in Jasher 29, lines 12 through 17. Let's read that real quick. What did I say? 12 through 17. Okay. Right chapter. All right, yep. All right, Jasher 29, lines 12 through 17 says, And when Esau saw that Yaakov had fled and escaped from him, and that Yaakov had cunningly obtained the blessing, that Esau grieved exceedingly. And he was also vexed at his father and mother. And he also arose up and took his woman and went away from his father and mother to the land of Seir. And he dwelt there. And Esau saw there a woman from amongst the daughters of Sheth, whose name was Basmath, the daughter of Elon the Shittim, and he took her for a woman in addition to his first woman. His first one was the woman that he got from Ishmael. And Esau called her name Adah, saying the blessing had in that time passed from him. And Esau dwelt in the land of Seir 6 months without seeing his father and mother. And afterward Esau took his women and rose up and returned to the land of Canaan. And Esau placed his 2 women in his father's house in Chevron. And the women of Esau vexed and provoked Yitzhak and Rivkah with their works, for they walked not in the ways of Yahweh, but served their fathers Elohim of wood and stone, as their father had taught them. And they were more wicked than their father. And they went according to the evil desires of their hearts, and they sacrificed and burnt incense to the Baalim. And Yitzhak and Rivkah became very weary of them. And Rivkah said, I am weary of my life, because of the daughters of Sheth. If Yaakov take a woman of the daughters of Sheth, such as these, which are the daughters of the land, What good then is life unto me? And in those days Ada, the woman of Esau, conceived and bore him a son. And Esau called the name of the son that was born unto him Eliphaz. And Esau was 65 years old when she bore him. All right. So we see that Esau, he didn't take just one. He took him 2 women of the women his parents said that they didn't like, just to displease them. All right, where was I? Okay, so, and then we see, so Jacob traveled from Bere'shiyth toward Haran, and he tarried upon a certain place that night. And this night Jacob has a dream, and he sees a stairway to heaven coming out of the sky, and he sees the angels coming up and down the stairs, and above the stairs at the top stood Yahweh. And he said, I am Yahweh Elohai of your father Abraham, and the Elohai of Isaac. And the land that you lie upon I will give to you and your seed shall multiply as the dust of your earth. In your seed, Jacob's seed, the seed of Abraham, will all families of the earth be blessed. And he says, I am with you, and I will guard you, and I will bring you again into this land, and I will not leave you until I have done what I have spoken to you. And then Jacob wakes up from this dream, and he was freaking out, and he said, surely Yahweh was in this place. And he is like freaking out about the encounter that he just had in his dream. He is like scared and amazed at the same time, if that makes sense. And he says that what he saw in the dream was Yahweh and the gate to heaven. And after he got up, he made a pillar and he poured oil upon it. And then he called the name of that city Beit El, which is Bethel in modern language. And before that, it was called Luz. And Jacob made his vow, and he said that if Yahweh is with me, and he will guard me wherever I go, and give me bread to eat and clothes to put on, so that I can come back to my father's house in peace one day, then Yahweh shall be my Elohim. And the stone that he set for a pillar shall be Yahweh's house, and all that Yahweh shall give him, he shall give 1/10 of his portion to Yahweh. Tithing, which we see in the book of Jubilees, Abraham actually began tithing. And tithing is not what the church makes it out to be today. Most churches are scamming you with that. And I say most, not all. You don't have to give your tithe to the church. Yahweh, oh wait, I'm reading ahead. Hold on. Tithing, it was originally instituted with the crops. They would offer Yahweh 1/10 of their crops, like 1/10 of the grain, or 1/10 of the fruit that they grow, or whatever it may be, or 1/10 of their flocks, things like that. And nowadays, you can donate to organizations to help widows or orphans or the homeless, the hungry. If you have a little garden in your backyard, you can offer some of your food. But you do not have to give your 10% to the church. And I just want to make that very clear. All right. Finally, we are on to chapter 29. Let's go ahead and read. Then Yaakov went on his journey and came into the land of the people of the east. And he looked, and behold, a well in the field. And lo, there were 3 flocks of sheep lying by it. For out of that well they watered the flocks. And a great stone was upon the well's mouth. And thither there were all the flocks gathered. And they rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the sheep, and put the stone again upon the well's mouth in its place. And Yaakov said unto them, My brethren, whence ye be? And they said, Of Haran are we. And he said unto them, Know ye Lavan, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And he said unto them, Is he well? And they said, He is well. And behold, Rachel his daughter comes with the sheep. And he said, Lo, is it yet high day? Neither is it time that the cattle should be gathered together. Water ye the sheep, and go and feed them. And they said, We cannot until all the flocks be gathered together. Until they roll the stone from the well's mouth, then we water the sheep. And while he yet spoke with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she kept them. And it came to pass, when Yaakov saw Rachel, the daughter of Lavan, and his mother's brother, and the sheep of Lavan, his mother's brother, that Yaakov went near, and he rolled the stone from the well's mouth, and watered the flock of Lavan, his mother's brother. And Yaakov kissed Rachel, and lifted up his voice, and wept. And Yaakov told Rachel that he was her father's brother. and that he was Rivkah's son. And she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Lavan heard of the tidings of Yaakov his sister's son, that he ran to meet him, and embraced him, and kissed him, and brought him into his house. And he told Lavan all these things. And Lavan said to him, Surely you are my bone and my flesh. And he abode with them the space of a month. And Lavan said unto Yaakov, Because you are my brother, should you therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall your wages be? And Lavan had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Yaakov loved Rachel, and said, I will serve you 7 years for Rachel, your younger daughter. And Lavan said, It is better that I give her to you than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Yaakov served 7 years for Rachel. And they seemed unto him but a few days, for the love he had to her. And Yaakov said unto Lavan, Give me my woman, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. And Lavan gathered together all the men of his place, and made a feast. And it came to pass in the evening, that he took Leah his daughter, and brought her to him, and he went in unto her. And Lavan gave unto his daughter Leah Zilpah his maid for a handmaid. And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Lavan, What is this you have done unto me? Did I not serve you for Rachel? Wherefore then have you beguiled me? And Lavan said, It must not be so done in our country, to give the younger before the firstborn. Fulfill her week, and we will give you this also for the service which you shall serve with me yet 7 other years. And Yaakov did so, and fulfilled her week. And he gave him Rachel his daughter to be his woman also. And Lavan gave to Rachel his daughter Bilhah his handmaid to be her maid. And he went in also unto Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah, and he served with him yet 7 other years. And when Yahweh saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb. But Rachel was barren, and Leah conceived and bore a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, Surely Yahweh has looked upon my affliction, now therefore my man will love me. And she conceived again and bore another son, and said, Because Yahweh has heard that I was hated, he has therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Shimon. And she conceived again and bore a son, and said, Now this time will my man be joined unto me, because I have borne him 3 sons. Therefore was his name called Levi. And she conceived again and bore a son. And she said, Now I will praise Yahweh. Therefore she called his name Yehudah, and left bearing. Okay. Let's go over this really quick. Alright, so Jacob is on his journey, and he looks around, and he sees a well in a field, and there were flocks of sheep that were laying by it, and the shepherds were out there with their sheep, and the well was covered with a large stone. So they roll the stone off the well, and they water the sheep, and then they close the well back up. And then Jacob walks up, and he says to them, My brethren, where are you from? And they tell him that we are from Haran. And so Jacob says, Do you know Lavan, the son of Nahor? And they said, We know him. And then Jacob asked, Is he well? And they said, He's well. Behold, here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep. And Jacob said, But it isn't even high day, or time to gather the cattle. So Jacob said, Water your sheep and go. And they tell him, Well, we can't until all the flocks are gathered together. And he spoke with them, and then Rachel came with her father's sheep. And Jacob saw Rachel, and it was love at first sight. Jacob helped roll the stone off the well, and he watered Rachel's father's flock. And then Jacob kissed Rachel, and he tells Rachel who he is, and then Rachel runs, and she tells her father. And then when Lavan hears of this, he runs to meet Jacob, and he embraces him and kisses him, and he brings Jacob into his house. And then Jacob tells Lavan why his mother sent him there, and he stayed there for about a month. So Lavan says, Because you're my brother, you shouldn't serve me for nothing. Tell me what your wages are. And Lavan had 2 daughters, which was Leah and Rachel. And Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel, she was beautiful and well-favored. And like I said, it was love at first sight when Jacob saw Rachel. Jacob loved her very much. So he says, I'll serve you for 7 years if you let me marry Rachel. And Lavan says, well, it's better that, she marries you than some other strange man. So he agreed to the terms. So Jacob serves Lavan for 7 years and Rachel for Rachel. And it didn't seem so long to him because of how much Jacob loved her. So Jacob said, I fulfilled my 7 years. Give me Rachel so I can marry her. So Lavan gathered all of his men and they had a feast and celebrated. And at the end of the evening, Lavan brought his daughter Leah into Jacob's tent. And Jacob thought it was Rachel. And they knew each other, which is the biblical euphemism for having sex. And the next morning, Jacob wakes up and he realized that Leah is sleeping next to him and not Rachel, that Lavan had tricked him. So Jacob confronts Lavan and is like, why did you trick me with Leah? Didn't I serve you for Rachel? And Lavan says that it must be done in our country that the firstborn is given before the younger one is. And if you fulfill another week, which in biblical terms, a week is another 7 years in this case, I will give you Rachel. So Jacob served Lavan another 7 years for Rachel, a total of 14 years now. And finally, he gets to marry Rachel, and she gets her handmaid, Bilhah. And then Jacob knew Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than he loved Leah. And he served their father yet another 7 years. And when Yahweh saw that Leah was hated, he opened Leah's womb, but Rachel was barren. She was afflicted. Leah bore a son, and she called him Reuben. And Leah said, surely that Yahweh has looked upon my affliction, therefore my man will love me. And then Leah conceives again, and she bore another son, and she called him Simon, or Shimon. And she said that Yahweh has heard that I was hated, and therefore he's given me this son also. And then Leah conceives again and bore another son, and she named him Levi. And then she conceived again and bore another son, and she said that I will praise Yahweh, and therefore she named this son Judah. And then she leaves bearing after this. Alright guys, so that wraps it up for today. Don't forget to go check out the Facebook group that I have made for you guys to stay up to date with me, and let's go ahead and close up with a prayer. Yahweh, thank you for allowing us to study your Torah, and thank you for allowing me to speak your truth and do my best to teach in righteousness. Yahweh, I pray that we are all found worthy to be covered in the blood of the Lamb, and I pray that we are counted worthy to escape your wrath. And I hope any of your sheep out there still slumbering wake up, and I pray that they hear your voice and flock to you, Abba. In Yahushua's name we pray. Amen. Alright guys, enjoy the rest of your Shabbat. I will see you guys next week, and Shalom.